Hey! Becoming a YouTuber has never been more easy than it is today. And if you're trying to figure out what social media platform to stick to, it's definitely YouTube. You don't need the biggest, most flashy or expensive gear to get started or to even grow your channel. All you need is some good audio, some good video, and good lighting. I'm going to take you through my favorite budget-friendly YouTube gear with prices so that you can see that you can get started sooner than you think. Even as soon as today if you'd like. Also, it's your lucky day because today I'm going to give you a look into my YouTube workflow using Notion and also the script outline that I use for every single video that I record. So let's go ahead and get into it. And be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more content creation tips. Let's talk about cameras. If you're looking for a really good quality camera to get started with your YouTube channel today without spending any money, then most likely you're watching off of the device that I'm going to recommend to you, and that is your phone. That's right, my friend. Your phone is the perfect device to get started on your YouTube channel today. I'm team iPhone, so with every single new model launch there is with Apple products, the video quality gets better and better. And I can imagine that Android also gets better as well. So utilizing your phone for YouTube videos is just as good as using an expensive $2,000 camera that you'll get from the store. Don't let the camera be the thing that is holding you back from starting your channel. Because at the end of the day, so many creators utilize their phone for creating content, whether if that is for Instagram or TikTok or for YouTube. I'd recommend to just hit the record button, go ahead and record with your phone, and use a free software like CapCut to edit your videos down. Assuming that you already have this phone in hand, you are looking to get started recording for $0. The Canon M50 Mark I and Mark II. The Canon M50 has been used by so many content creators, which is why I resorted to this a couple years back, and till this day I still use this baby like it is the last camera on earth. The autofocus is awesome, which is really important to me as a solo content creator because I don't have anyone behind the camera to manually focus on my face when filming. At the beginning of my YouTube journey, I used the basic lens that came with the kit, which was the 15 to 45 millimeter lens, but I recently started filming with the Sigma 16mm f 1.4 millimeter lens, which has improved my video quality by a ton. Here's B-roll that I shot with a 15-45mm lens. And this video that you're watching right now is being recorded on the Sigma 16mm lens. If you decide to invest in the Canon M50, then you're looking at an investment of $729 on Amazon at the time of this recording. If you decide to upgrade the lens that it comes with and switch it out for the Sigma 16mm lens, then you're looking at an investment of $368 on Amazon at the time of this recording. Sony ZV-E10. Sony always has the best products, and although I've never owned a Sony product before, so many content creators recommend this product, and I've watched countless of review videos utilizing the Sony ZV-E10, and I am super impressed by it. If I decide to change the brand that I work with, or if I decide to move on from the Canon M50, I will decide to go ahead and move forward with the Sony ZV-E10 or better, but I'm working very well with Canon M50, which is why I'm still recording with it. A few pointers that I like to make is that the Sony camera is a lot more small and compact compared to the Canon M50. So this makes it very useful for travel vloggers or for people who just want something very light and easy to carry around, whereas the Canon M50 is a little bit more bulky and a little bit more heavy when I'm taking it around with me. Here's some video shot on the Sony ZV-E10. For this camera, you're looking at an investment of $698 on Amazon at the time of this recording. Now let's talk about audio. Audio is my favorite part. There's something about really good audio that's just oddly satisfying to me. Remember that if you have bad audio, you have a bad video. So if you're looking to invest your money in a quality YouTube setup that's budget friendly, then I definitely would recommend to go for audio first. The Deity Pocket Wireless mic is my favorite mic and it's my top pick. It's under $100, just by $1 at the time of this recording, and it has a really amazing sound quality. Not only are you able to use this mic with your camera, but you're also able to use it with your phone. The only thing about using with your phone is you do have to purchase a dongle if you're using an iPhone. I'm not sure how compatible it would be with the wiring that it comes with an Android, but definitely for an iPhone, you do need to purchase a dongle for it to plug in. But regardless, the sound is super crisp and it's amazing. And as you can hear on this video right now, this is what it would sound like if you were to record with the Deity Pocket wireless mic. You're looking at an investment of $99 at the time of this recording, which can be purchased on Amazon. The 2-pack Love Mic. If you're using an iPhone for filming your YouTube videos and you're looking for something that's budget friendly, I recommend this 2-pack Love Mic that can be found on Amazon. It comes with 2 mics, so you're able to record 2 people at the same time while they're simultaneously using the mics. And you can record up to 65 feet away from your phone and still capture good audio. For the set, you are looking at an investment of between $22 to $30 on Amazon at the time of this recording. The Movo VX-R10. If you're filming with a Canon M50 or the Sony ZV-E10 or even any other DSLR camera, then this would be a good super budget friendly mic that you can start with. This is the mic that I utilized when I started my YouTube journey. The sound is crisp enough, it sounds lovely, and I never had any issues with it. When it comes to the sound quality overall, I do recommend the Deity Pocket Wireless over the Movo VX-R10, but if you're looking for something that is a little bit more cheaper, less than $50, then I would say Movo VX-R10 is going to be a good choice for you. This investment would be $39.99 on Amazon at the time of this recording. Now let's talk about lighting. When it comes to lighting, you can get away perfectly fine with natural lighting. But if you would like to purchase something so that you're able to film at any time during the day without depending on the sun being out, then I recommend the Mount Dog Softbox Lighting Kit. It comes with 2 soft light lamps and it comes with everything in the kit that you need when it comes to trying to create really good lighting for your videos. This is the kit that I use for my lighting, and if you're looking to invest in a lighting kit, then I recommend this one. And at the time of this recording, it is $79.99 on Amazon. Everything else that I would recommend as an option if you need it, such as SD cards or tripods, camera supplies, and stuff like that, it's all going to be linked in the description below, along with everything else that I mentioned previously in this video. Now let's go ahead and take a look at my script outline. So this is the script outline that I use for every single video that I record. I have it very standardized and very structured. So I have the intro, the content, and then the outro. Within the intro, I basically will update it with specific notes so that I have a guideline of how I want to create it or how I want to write it. So in the intro, it says, hook with something enticing, get straight to the point. No personal introduction, do not say, hey guys, or welcome back to my channel. A few hook ideas that I listed here is ask a question related to the video topic that will interest the viewer, repeat what the viewer will get out of this video if they watch it, cut scenes and narration overlay like storytelling leading up to the content of the video. So as I discover different ways that I can hook the audience, I will go ahead and actually write the list here. And then for content, I keep it pretty basic. I write content by chapters and time codes. I make it clear and concise. Be sure that each segment of the video is related only to what that section is about. Mid-video, I mention to like and subscribe to my channel. And then I also determine a perfect opportunity to mention a question that the audience can answer in the comments or a call to action that will get the viewer to engage with my video. And then in the outro, I like to keep it super quick, I don't want to elaborate on anything. I don't like to fluff it up. So I like to wrap it up quickly without signaling that the video is ending. And then I end the video with a call to action to click on the next video on the screen, and then I will meet them there. So this helps me with making it binge worthy and giving the audience or the viewer an opportunity to take a quick action that is related to my content. So click on the video on the screen or reference something where they're staying on my content. So that is the outline of my script. Now let's take a look into my YouTube workflow. To keep everything organized, I use Notion, and this is going to be a free template. So if you like what you see and you want to utilize it yourself, it'll be linked in the description below. So this is what my workflow looks like. And well, actually this is what the template will look like when you open it up. At the top here, I basically have a table that tells me what my niche is. It gives me my 3 content pillars and then also 3 inspirations of different content creators who are within my niche that I aspire to be like. I also have a little sticky note here. So this is just any notes for me or my team. So I put what my schedule for releasing videos is, and then basically when the videos are due from my editor. In the navigation and tools section right here, I have a YouTube workflow brief, which basically just gives me an overview of how my workflow looks like. And then I have a content idea list, which we will come back to. This one is really important. I have a description template, and then the blog prompt for ChatGPT won't be relevant to you, so it's not going to be included in the template, but I have it here because it's quickly accessible for me. For my YouTube workflow, I have two different views. I have the board view and then I have the calendar view. For board view, this basically just shows me where in the process each of my videos are. Once I have solidified an idea and I definitely want to create a video on a specific topic, I will go ahead and place it under ideas. When I'm scripting it, I will go ahead and drag it to scripting. If I'm filming it, I will go ahead and drag it to filming. If my editor is editing it, I will put it under editing. If I'm creating the description and searching for keywords and trying to create my thumbnail, then I will put it under SEO. And then lastly, once it's scheduled to YouTube, not necessarily published just yet, but just generally scheduled, then I will go ahead and drag it to scheduled. My calendar view, I really like how simple and easy it is to look at because it helps me beat the overwhelm of seeing all of the videos in one area and seeing the status that they're at. So if I see it in the calendar view, it basically shows me when the video is going to go live. So as you can see, the month of December has already been scheduled and published, and then we're gonna go to January. These are the videos that are going to be published or scheduled in, but this helps me just visually see when each video is due. As you can see on the cards here in the front, I have a checklist. So if I'm done with the thumbnail, I can go ahead and check this off. If the description has been written, I'll check that off. If it's been scheduled, I will check that off. And then the last one is if a blog post has been created. What I really like about this workflow is that I can open up each video idea and there's more details that I can work with here. So if we open this up, this is what it's going to look like on the side if it's opened up from the side peek. And we have the status that it's under, we have the date that it's supposed to be published, we have the folder link, and the folder link is basically where we host everything. The thumbnail versions, the raw videos, and the final video versions. We have the B-roll, the audio, the music, everything that we need for that specific video project is going to be in this link to that folder. And then for the script, I have that linked here as well so that I can easily just open it up and then record my videos and read from my script. I have a playlist here, and then I have the keywords here where once I know what the video is and I'm about to do SEO, I will go ahead and do keyword research, and then I will go ahead and paste it here so that it's easy for me to copy and then paste into the tags element when I'm uploading the video. The checklist that was under the calendar view is also here as well. Any products that I mentioned in my video, I will go ahead and I will get the affiliate link and then paste it here so I can copy and paste it into the description. I have the time codes here as well, so as I'm reviewing the final video, I will go ahead and write the time codes and the chapters or the names of each time code so that I can easily copy and paste it to the description during upload. And then if you scroll down, what I like to do is while I'm doing thumbnail research, I like to basically copy and paste the title of my video. So I will go ahead and copy it and then paste it into YouTube. And then I like to go ahead and just scroll through and see what populates at the top. So I usually take maybe like 6, 7 thumbnails, and then I will screenshot it and put it here just so I can see. And then I like to compare all of them to see what is common between all of the thumbnails, what is working for them, what can I do better. And then I will go ahead and create the thumbnail and then check it off in the checklist that I've created it. I also have a shorts workflow at the bottom here, which I haven't started utilizing just yet, but I will. And basically it looks like a weekly view. And on the card in the front, you can see there's a checklist. So once you create the caption, once you create the video, and once you scheduled it, you can go ahead and check it off here. And you can change what the theme of each card is. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is typically what I want my schedule to be for posting shorts. I have inspirational, educational, and testimonials. You can change it to whatever you want. And then if you open up the card, this is what it looks like. So it has the checklist, it has the date it'll go out. If you have specific text on your video that you want to include, like a hook, for example, tell me you love her without telling me you love her. That's a hook. So then you can go ahead and type it here. And then once you edit a video, you can go ahead and just easily copy the on-screen text here and then paste it onto the video while you're in the editing process. If you are doing research and you find videos that you like and you want to create video similar to that, then I like to paste the link to that video here, whether if it's TikTok or if it's YouTube or if it's Instagram or even Facebook. And then the video file to publish will be linked here. So once you're done with the video and it's done, you'll have a final version. You can go ahead and add the file or the image here. And once you upload it, it's easily accessible on Notion. And then at the bottom, this is where you will write your caption. I just have a few directions here, but this is generally where you will write your caption at. So if we scroll back to the top and make our way back to the content idea list, you're gonna go ahead and open that up. And while I'm doing research for content that I should create for my audience and what my audience needs to see, I like to do research in different areas, and I like to organize it to where I know where these ideas are coming from. So for example, these are popular videos by other creators. So I will go to their channel, I will click on the most popular, and then I will see what worked for them, screenshot it, put it here, and then if I feel like if it's a video topic that aligns with me and my audience, I'll create a script on my own and create a video like that. I like to also use vidIQ. So vidIQ is great for keyword research, and also vidIQ will give you video ideas as well. So for anything that I feel like aligns with me and my channel, I will go ahead and write here. I like to do keyword research and figuring out video ideas from the auto-populated search terms on YouTube, Google, and TikTok, and I'll go ahead and write it here. And then I also like to go to my competitors' YouTube videos, go through their comments, read what people are saying, what's commonly asked the most, and then I like to put it here just to see if it's anything that I can help with in my own videos, where I can just structure an entire script based off of my own experience. So once I determine what content idea I really want to create a video on, I will go back to my content calendar, and then I will go ahead and drop it under ideas, and that's when it will start going through the entire content creation process. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content creation tips, and then go ahead and click on the video on the screen, and I'll see you there. Bye.